Friends, welcome to Salesforce CMAT's video session 173. So basically in today's video, we will actually walk through the computable functionalities. I think I have to probably divide it in a few sub videos to explain the whole concept of, computable functionalities. But anyways, we can just start it off from here. So in the previous video, we understood some of the simple calculations which can be done. As I told you, there are a few complex calculations also which can be performed with certain, functions which are already inherently present in the compare table. Okay. So let's go through that part. So I will click on the Analytics Studio over here, and I will just open this data set account of lecture. And from here, what I will do is I will just go to my compare table. Okay. And let's say I take something, for example, let's say stage. Okay. Let me take the example of stage. Now, what I will do is I will just duplicate this tab as well as I will be requiring other stuffs, because in one go, if I explain all the function, it will not work out. Some error comes up. So what I will do is here I will click on edit this column, and I will click on this plus icon to get to a new row. Now, as you can see, this is the count of rows. Let's deal with count of rows. Now over here, if you see, when you come into this calculations, now we did something like a plus b, a into p, all those things. But here you have certain other functions. Okay. So we need to understand all these are called as computable functionalities, and we will understand all of this one by one. So you have the computable functionalities which will present are sliding window, percentage of group, rank within group, period over period, change from previous, and running total. So we will understand the first part first of all. Okay. Now we will not have any reset group. So details group is like, whatever you're grouping by, that part will come over here. Currently, I think the reset group is not required. Maybe I will have a separate session explain you how in this thing, if you go by reset group, how it works out. But keeping the reset group none. So basically all these functions which I'll be explaining you sliding into percentage rank. First, let's understand how it works out, and then we'll understand how it works out with reset group. So in all these things which I'll be explaining, we will keep the reset group as none as of now. Okay. Now, here you can see for sliding window, first of all, let's understand the definition. Okay. So if you hover into this eye icon, information icon, okay, you will get to see this one. Fine. So the sliding window, as it says, applies an aggregate function across multiple rows. You will have the aggregate functions. Okay. Now, column basically means the column in which we want to aggregate. Okay. The function to apply across rows, it applies across the rows. And position start is what? The position of the first row related to the current row in the aggregation. Leave blank to include all prior values in the reset group. And end is like position of the last row related to the current row. Leave blank to include all the following rows in the reset group. Okay. And reset group, when the value of this group changes, the aggregation resets. That is fine. So with reset group as none, now what it is saying is, as we go back to this definition, applies an aggregate function across multiple rows. So what it means is, for example, this is the count of rows which you have. Okay. Let's say I go for something. Let's say I start with a simple one. Let's say max. Okay. If I start with max, now here if you give -1 and 0, what does it mean is, so 0 is that particular row. For example, for closed loss, 0 is this particular row. -1 is the one previous to this one. Okay. So if you just check over here, like this is the closed loss, right? If you check my cursor, this is the closed loss. Now for the closed loss, here if I click on apply, okay, with -1 and 0, what will happen is, as you can see here, -1 is the one row previous to that. Okay. So for example, the closed one we have as 398, isn't it? Now with the closed one as 398, how is the max happening? So what is the previous row? -1 is the previous row, 0 is the current row. So -1, 0 is like, this is the previous one is the -1 for closed one, and the present one is the 0 one. Okay. So for example, if I just open my Excel sheet, okay, this is just an example I will portray very quickly to you. So for example, in the first one, you have something like closed loss, right? So you have something like closed lost. In the second one, you have something like closed one. And in the third one, you have something like needs analysis. Okay. Now what I will mention is, I will mention the numbers over here. So it's like 119, and then you have 398, and then you have something like 36, right? Now when I say, so basically here, for example, what is the start? Okay. So the start is nothing but it's -1, right? And what is the end? The end is nothing but 0. Now try to understand, if I take this example of closed one, okay, what is the start? -1 means the previous row. Okay. 0 means the present row. Similarly, let's say if I give the end as something like 1. Okay. Now if I hover into this row, closed one, minus means the previous one. Okay. End means the next one. Okay. That's how the calculations will be done. So for example, here, now if I mention it as 0, which is done. So in this case, if I write the values in the C column, so in this case, what is the max? So what is the max of -1 to 0? So here we don't have any -1, so the max will be 119. Okay. For the next one, because it's 398, but it's in -10. So -1 is what? The previous one, and 0 is the present one. So that means out of these two, which one is the max? The max is 390. That's why it will be 398. Similarly, for your need analysis, okay, like if I use -10, what it will be? Basically, for need analysis, it will be nothing but 398 once again, right? Okay, so basically that's how this max value is calculated. Like you take the previous one depending upon the start and end, you take the previous one and the present one. It all depends upon the start and end which you are given. Okay, now we will take one more example. Let's say I just delete all this. Okay, now let's say I take -1. Okay, something like uh, -1 and 1. Okay, so here instead of 0, let's say increase this by 1, and if I click on apply, now we will understand how this will work out. Okay, so with -1 and 1, and let me take a few more. Let's say I take the next one, that is negotiation, and then I will take something like perception. I'm not writing the whole thing, that is fine. I think that's understood to you. So I will write the count of rows which is here. So for negotiation it's 17, and for perception it is 28. Okay, now here of course I'm going for the max, right? So how will this max happen? Now with -1, the first one will be still 119. That's not an issue. Now come to here for the closed one, how it will be. So basically you have -1 means the previous one you are going to check. -1 to 1 means that this is the 0th position, and the 1 means the very next position is known as 1 position. So out of this, which one is max? The max is 390. That's why the answer will be 390. Okay. Now similarly, if you come to need analysis, okay, -1 is the previous one. So out of this three, which one is the maximum? The maximum is again 398. Okay. And again come to this one. So again you have to check from this three position, because -1 to 1. So that means the previous one, the present row, as well as the next one. That's how it goes up. So again here it is 36. Okay, so I will write 36 over here. Right? And similarly here, if you see, there's no one, there's no next thing. I mean, there is a next thing, but I mean, again, I'm not calculating the last one, because there it is not ending. I won't calculate all of the things, but I hope you got this point. Okay, I have explained up to this. This one I have to take the next row over here. Okay, so that's how it's calculated. As you can see, it is matching. Okay, now this is all about max. Now similarly, if you go for sum, okay, so how will the sum happen? So again, if I just write over here sum, and let's say I delete all this. Now there, if I go for sum, what will happen is if I click on apply, okay, now it will be like 119. So -1 to 1 is like 119. So all these three summations, okay. So it will be a summation of these three. As you can see, the sum is 553. I mean, if you look at here, I'm not doing the summation. It is like 553. So that's why at least for this row, it will be 553, okay. How I'm doing it in the Excel. So if you see, like, now what I will do is maybe I can do the calculation at one go on the Excel, then I will show you on the data set. Okay, let's go by that. So again, for this one, there is no, I mean, the one is actually, so -1 to 1 is like this two, right? So what is the value of this two? As you can see here, the sum is 517. So I can write over here 517. Okay. Now, when it comes to this three, okay, this three, the sum is being displayed over here. Now, again, for this row, what it will be this three. Okay, so the sum is again displayed, which is 451. Fine. So it is 451. And again, if I just go over here, so it will be again this three, the sum is 81, as it's mentioned over here. And again, for this one, it's like -1. So again, this two, right? I'm not taking the last one because I haven't done for all the calculation. That's fine. I'm taking just for this four as of now, okay, with -1, 1. So that's why it's been calculated, and now we can check the results. I will just, okay. So as you can see, that result is exactly matching. I have not done the last one because I have to take the next row. But I hope you got this idea how this summation. So similar to this, you have other things like average, you have minimum. So all these things you can walk through. So this is all about the sliding window. Okay. So I am leaving it up till sum. And here, the more you increase, the more you will get to see, go to the next row, and all this way it will work out. Okay. So that's the way it's done. You can increase it up to 2 or -2. Okay. That's your wish. And that can be done in that manner. Fine. Now, if you don't mention anything, so for example, if I don't mention anything over here, and here if I write as -1, so it will apply for all the previous row. For example, right now if I click on apply, and let's say I go for max, okay. So now if you see here, basically for 119, okay, it will be the next one, but prior to that, whatever row will be there, it will take everything. So that's why it's showing us 398. Okay. Now for 398, basically, so maybe I can take the mean, maybe, okay, because with the mean I can explain this example properly. Fine. So basically, when you don't put anything, so again I will just go to my Excel sheet. Okay, I have taken. Let me do one thing. Let me take one more part, which is like proposal, and let me write the value over here, which is 11. Okay. So now here, when you don't mention any value, okay, and now what we will do is, because this one we can take the example of main. I will just very quickly explain you that when you don't give anything start and we are giving the end one, how this will work out. So when you are not giving anything start, like previously, whatever values, like everything will be taken into consideration. So in this case, of course, it's 119. That is fine, minimum. Okay. Now when you come to over here, whatever values before that, you have to take everything. So again, it's 119. Okay, which makes sense. Now again, if you come over here, now if you have to take, I'm sorry. For this one, you have to take the next one as well. Okay. So for this one, it's like both of them is 119. For this one, it is like you have to take from this till here. So that is actually 36, not 119. I'm sorry, that will be 36. Okay. Similarly, if you come over here, okay, so from all the previous till the next one, so it is 17, right? It is 17. Similarly, if you come to this one, so from 28 till 17 is again 17. Okay. Similarly, if you come to here, so previously and till the next one, so it's 11 over here. Okay. The next one I have to check the next one. I'm not writing. So up till here, I hope you got it. So that's the way it's calculated. We'll take all the previous rows. So if you see, it's matching 119, 36, 17, 17, and 11. For the next one, I have to take the next row because end up given one. So it's like whichever position that row is. For example, your negotiation. So with the start, you have to check if it is -1, it will take the previous row. If it is -2, it will take the previous two rows. Had it been -2, when you're not giving any value, it will take all the rows. Okay, so that's how this is being worked out. Now, similarly, you can do the same thing for end as well. So we will take one more example related to yeah, maybe mean is I think fine. So what I will do is here, I will give the start as -1 and maybe the end I will not give anything. Okay. So I will click on apply right now. Now I will just quickly -1 and nothing given over here. So I will write here -1. Okay. And here nothing is given. Nothing is given. Zero is basically the present row. Understand that if nothing is given means all the things will be taken into consideration. So what I will do is again I will delete this part. Okay. Now try to understand -1 is like previously don't have anything and end is like all this thing. So out of this, which is the minimum? Okay, I have to take all the rows for this one. Okay, in this way I don't think so I can show you out. I have to take all the rows. Okay. So but I hope you got this idea. Like it will take the minimum from over here. Okay. So whichever you see is the minimum, that part will be taken. For example, up till here, you see the minimum is which one? The minimum is 11. Okay, because it's taking all the rows from here. That's why the minimum will be 11. Okay, so maybe there I have to write then all the things. Okay, so that's the thing over here. For example, you have something like prospecting, you have qualification, and similarly you have something like value prop. Okay, so here also if I write something like 19, and here also 48, and here also 35. Now because it's taking the end of it, right, so everywhere it will be 11, as you can understand, right? So this 11 will be actually there up till this 19th position. Okay, because you are taking the previous one and you are taking after the end of it. Now from here it's like it's taking the previous one and the end of it, so here it will be 35. Okay, so I'm sorry, start is -1 and end is 0. So -1, sorry, this will be 19. Okay, so this will be 19, and for this one it will take the previous and this one, which will be 35, right? So I hope this part you got it. So basically it's like start -1 is take the previous one and end means no end, like take all the rows after that. So again, if it takes all the rows, 11 will always be there. Up till here, 11 will always be there, even till this position, because it's -1. But here it will be like it's taking the previous one after the end of this is 35. So it's taking 90. Okay. So that's it about this one. We will continue on this part. So I have just explained you about the sliding window functionalities. Okay. Thank you. Let's meet in the next video.